शन्नो मित्रस्यं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्पर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि अर्थं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Brothers and sisters, I thank you all for the happy presence you have given me this evening. I am expected to speak some aspects about reincarnation this evening. Reincarnation is also sometimes called rebirth. It is supposed that some parts of the globe, the people believe in reincarnation. It was understood to be a belief some time ago. It was considered to be a religious belief of certain people. But as time passed on, people came to know of evolution on this earth. And the coming of Darwin and his followers have once again brought the theory of evolution on this earth. Many scientists have improved upon the theory till now. Many scientists have improved upon the Darwin theory till now. But even now, the theory of evolution according to biology remains defective. There are still many things to be explained, and there are no proper explanations to those gaps that are not filled up. In the meanwhile, science has developed in many branches, and the science of spiritualism also developed. And many branches in the science of spiritualism also developed. And they have gradually covered the missing links of evolution. Now, because of the foremost thinkers of the world, because of the foremost thinkers of the world till now, many of the gaps in the theory of evolution have been filled up. And now we have a self-sufficient theory of evolution, which can answer and clear off all the doubts of the biological student. And the theory contains three aspects in it: the theory of evolution, the theory of reincarnation, and the theory of karma. All the three sciences put together form a self-sufficient science. And people who have understood this self-sufficient theory now no more think that the theory of reincarnation is a religious belief. It is not a belief, but it is a scientific truth which is understood through sound common sense by those who have an objective way of understanding, and it is a matter of experience by some people who have undergone spiritual discipline, and it is a matter of a simple scientific truth in the eyes of the true scientist. In the meanwhile, some imaginative theories have also developed about reincarnation. Now there are people who do not believe in the theory of reincarnation. There are people who really understand and believe in it. And there are people who do not understand but yet believe. And there are people who have made their own theories, calling them theories of reincarnation. Our purpose today is to pick up the real theories which stand to sound common sense and the experience of those who have undergone spiritual discipline.
Et à l'épreuve de l'expérience de ceux qui ont
That is, who know the theory objectively and subjectively also. Those who believe it only as a belief have fantastic ideas about reincarnation. Some people believe the living soul may be born either as a human being or as an animal. And many times we are born as animals and we are also born as human beings. And the reason for it is the reason they attribute for it is that it is the result of their karma that gives them the birth of an animal or a human being. Those who do good deeds, they are born as human beings. Those who do bad deeds, they are born as animals and insects. For moral teachings, it may be, the theory may be good, but the theory is only imaginative and fantastic. It is foolish to believe it, because if animals were to be born as human beings, how can they know the difference between good deeds and bad deeds? How can they select good deeds and do good deeds and then be born as human beings? Therefore, it is not the truth of it. Some people believe that among the males and females on this earth, the males are reborn only as males and females are reborn only as females. There are people who believe this theory in India, and in the Occident also I have seen people who believe in this theory. It is also not true.
Ce n'est pas vrai non plus.
Because male and female are only biological conveniences of the physical body, though many of us are conditioned by the instinct of sex. It is very difficult, I think. For today, I think you just observe how it is done, I think. No living beings like males and females.
Il n'existe pas des êtres vivants en tant que mâles et femelles.
The difference between male and female is only a biological convenience, because the construction of the physical body has some differences for childbearing and reproduction. This is a difference caused by nature in the construction of the physical bodies and the tissues that are being produced in the body and the endocrinal differences. All the other things are cultivated in the human mind as conditionings, because the much emotion and romance which the human being feels about male and female is only a self-cultivated fancy, whereas the differentiation of sex is nature given and sex instinct is intended for reproduction. Therefore,
Par conséquent,
we cannot understand that there are male souls and female souls. And for a person to be born as male and female, the necessity is quite different and the reason is quite different.
et la raison aussi.
The reason exists in nature which teaches us many things. To be born as a woman teaches us some aspects of life. To be born as men teaches us some other different aspects of life. And the two aspects give the two different dispositions of mind which have their perfection in motherhood and fatherhood. Since these two aspects are to be perfected by every soul in evolution, it is natural that every one of us should be born as female many times and as male many times also. Unless we are born as a female, we do not have that particular dimension of development, psychological or suprapsychological. Same is the case with the male birth also. Since nature wants us to develop in all dimensions, it gives us either male birth or female birth according to the need of our evolution. And it is not at all true that male souls are born as males continuously and female souls are born as females continuously. This does not stand to reason, and also there will not be a mutual understanding of male and female if this were to be true. The one fact in nature is male tries to understand female more. This is one of the facts in nature, and the reason for this is the supplementary development of the psychology of the human being. Since all the dimensions are to be developed, a polarity is created in nature, and attraction between opposite poles is also created. The whole earth has its own axis which acts as a magnet, and wherever it is necessary in creation, nature has introduced this strange phenomenon of polarity, that is attraction and repulsion. The physical cells of a male attract a female, and the physical cells of a female attract a male. This is for the sake of reproduction. Nature has bestowed us this polarity. When all these things are carefully understood, it is a fact that every one of us is to be born as a male or a female according to the required development of a dimension of consciousness. Required development of the dimension of consciousness. Whichever dimension is required, that particular birth is given to us. When the mother nature is to be supplemented, we are born to play the role of a wife. When father nature is to be supplemented, we are born as a husband. So, when immature, we play the role of husband and wife. We play the role of husband and wife. And when maturity takes place, we realize fatherhood and motherhood in the child. That is what nature expects from us. Therefore, we may be male or female in the next birth. Some people believe we have alternate successions of male and female births. That is, when we are born as a male this time, in the next time we will be born as a female. And if we are a female now, we will be born as male in the next time. This is what is called the theory of alternation, and some people believe in this theory. Even that also stands only as a probability in certain cases, and it cannot be reduced to a theory. The probability is that a person who is weak in his resistance against the sex instinct may have much of his psychological mechanism dedicated to sex instinct, may have dedicated it to the sex instinct. As a result, night and day he may be thinking of the opposite sex, and she may be thinking of her opposite sex. In that case, sometimes constant thinking may give an instinct to take birth of the opposite sex. It is only a probability, and even that cannot be a theory. There is also another misconception among some people in India, that a couple will be born in the next birth as a couple. That is, a husband and wife in this birth will be husband and wife in the next birth. This is also not true. But the reason to think like this is there in India, because in 80% of the cases in India, marriage is a mutual identification of the couple to each other. That is, almost there is no possibility of thinking of a second marriage in many cases. And the type of affection an average couple has in India is something which is not easily understood in the Occident. And such a relationship makes the Indians think that husband and wife are born as husband and wife again. But it is like the theory that a husband and wife, if they are working in a city in two different departments, if the husband is working in an office and the wife is working in some other office, when a transfer were to be made in the job, both of them will be transferred to the same place. Is not possible. It is like that. Nature has its own way of doing things, and the role of husband and wife, father and son, mother and son, brother and brother, all these relationships are only conditioned by one birth. They are not conditioned by the next birth at all. Because nature is guided by progressive procedure and not sentiments which are equal to human sentiments. We may have great affection to our brother or mother or wife or sister, but that affection is only sentimental and it is not based on any spiritual truth. But nature's procedure is always based on something progressive. Nature wants to give the proper evolution to the consciousness, and a gradual unfoldment of the consciousness is intended by nature, like the blossoming of all the petals of a flower. That is why nature makes groupings and rearrangements every time, so that people of different natures will have common experience and develop all dimensions of consciousness commonly. These are some false notions which do not stand to reason. And we now come to comparatively, apparently scientific arguments. Some people believe that the theory of evolution and the theory of reincarnation are connected in such a way that the way in which we behave in this life will give us a clue to understand the next birth. And sometimes people believe that we can know our past birth also. There are some experiments conducted on these lines, and there is much emotional about the theories and conclusions that is drawn. People believe that they have an idea of the previous birth of themselves. They go into some hypnotic sleep or trance and make imaginations about other people and begin to narrate stories after stories about the reincarnations of others. And this has become very common in the Occident during the past 30 years. It has come to such a ridiculous extent that a peculiar person telephoned in the middle of the night to another friend of her and said, "I have discovered a great truth." Then, "What is it?" the friend asked. She said, "I could understand who you were in your past birth." Then he asked, "Who am I?" She said, "You are Isaac Newton." And he was very much afraid to know if he were Isaac Newton. Because if he were to accept it, tomorrow many people ask him questions about Newton's law. And he has to put the face of Shakespeare. That means a different field. And another lady has met a young gentleman in one Occidental country and said, "I discovered something sweet about you." He said, "What?" in our past birth you are my husband, she said. Then the fellow said, what if? What if? If so, what? If so, if it were true, what to do now? She had no answer. In India, there was a story. A fellow approached a sadhu, a sannyasi, a monk, and wanted to give him the power to know his previous birth. Then the monk said, it is dangerous. Then he said, no, I want it. Then the monk gave him a little initiation for 24 hours. And the fellow had a peculiar vision when he saw his wife in his previous birth. Unfortunately, in this present birth, she is the wife of another person. And both of them were going on a motor bicycle to cinema. Yes, he felt very jealous. He followed them. He forgot that it was his previous birth because he was in a trance. So he became very angry about the person who was carrying his wife. And he straight went to the cinema theater and then sat by the side of his wife. Then the real husband in this life pulled him by the collar and gave him a kick. Then he came out of his trance and went home to see his wife in this life. Such stories indicate that people have strange notions about rebirth. But the reality is something different. There is a good relationship between the theory of karma and reincarnation, no doubt. And the present life and the incidents of the life at present are supposed to be in relation with our previous deeds of the previous birth. For example, if I ill-treated somebody in the previous birth, in this birth also I will be ill-treated by somebody. And if I injured anyone in the previous birth, that will be registered in the memory, and this memory gives a memory spot in the particular tissues of the body, and I will be born with weak tissues in that part. So that I will have an incurable or unavoided disease like cancer in that part. This is a part of the external truth of the law of rebirth. But this is not also the whole truth of it. If we are born as the result of the previous deeds, if that were to be true, what is the reason for our first birth? It has no answer. Therefore, this theory also does not stand to reason. Now, what the masters of wisdom have understood about the law of reincarnation is as follows. The whole solar system is undergoing a series of chain actions, a part of which is the birth and the development of the planets. And our Earth also is a part of the solar system, and it has its own series of chain actions in the making and development of the earth matter. But it is against common sense that the earth matter is a mass of some minerals, because there should be some consciousness which is preparing these minerals. Otherwise, minerals cannot aggregate into a planet called Earth and keep itself intact as the Earth globe. And the Earth globe cannot rotate around its own axis in uniform motion and activity, and cannot go around the sun in such a uniform way, and cannot produce the effects of the seasons in a uniform way. All these things prove that there is a team of intelligences making up the earth, who are called the Devas and the Deva kingdom. And they are creating the chain actions in the matter of this earth.